DestinyComics.com proudly presents the following podcast.
Sound like this.
Yeah, from the left to the right, let's all introduce ourselves so people listening to the podcast know who we are.
Okay.
Somebody just saying your name.
Yeah, say your name.
Say your name.
Hi, I'm Sarah Hadmiel.
Hey, I'm Luis Lopez.
Michael Sanders.
Brandon Noel.
And I'm Batman! Just kidding. Maylene Macias, sorry.
And you are at the table with Destiny.
For those of you, this is our first podcast. Most of us here are writers, editors on the 8-Bit Pulp magazine. And we're not really trying to sell the magazine to you right now. We will at the end of this.
Beware.
Beware.
There's a riff hidden in here somewhere.
Yeah. Exit through the gift shop.
Subliminal messaging. Gotta play it
Smoke!
10% off to anybody who finds it.
Yeah. But we're all just, we're writers, we're friends, we're just sitting here, we're going to riff on some nerdum and just have some fun talking. And, we kind of have a unique perspective in that we're all writers and part of the industry a little bit. So, with that said, I kind of have an interesting topic I want to bring up.
All right.
Because since we started publishing comics, I started following comic book news websites and stuff. I read an article the other night about a library who refused to pull The Killing Joke from its shelf.
Oh, I heard about that.
Refused to pull it.
See, it was in the young reader section.
And several parents wanted it pulled because it shows, if I remember, it shows Batgirl getting shot.
Well, it shows Batgirl getting shot, but here's the dilemma or whatever. Is it's kind of implied that the Joker rapes her.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And it's implied, it's not shown.
In the gunshot hole?
Well, no.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, it came to my mind, and sometimes I can't stop myself.
Shoot you right here.
It's the famous scene where the Joker comes through the door dressed up in the Hawaiian t-shirt,
Yeah.
shoots her. And then he takes photos, and then later on in the book, he's kidnapped Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
He straps him into this S&M kind of torture gear.
Figures.
And then sends him through a
When I
funhouse.
get a girlfriend named Harley, she's gonna love this chair.
But sends him through this funhouse with these photos of blown up S&M kind of weird stuff. And there's some images we never see, but we just get his reaction.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
There's this whole kind of did the Joker rape Batgirl?
I'm trying not to say it.
I want to say, I don't know which was more disturbing, the raped in the bullet hole or the Hawaiian shirt.
Rape my bullet hole, just take the shirt off!
Anything but the shirt.
It hurts so much worse than this gunshot in my spine.
I can't get the Hawaiian shirt out of my mind now. That's just horrible.
Have you seen the comic panel of it?
No.
Oh.
I've read the book 100 times.
Oh,
me
man.
too.
I love that book. That was one of the first books I read.
But yeah, I can understand some parents getting, kind of iffy about that. But, a kid's not going to get that implicated.
Yes,
yeah,
the shirt.
The shirt.
Are you worried that he raped her? No, look at the shirt!
Do you know what your child is wearing right now?
They come out wearing that shirt. No! Oh, you polluted my child!
But, I mean, Alan Moore wrote that book, who I think is a genius and batshit crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's he's a lunatic, but
that's
he's
why it's perfect for
wonderful
children.
writer.
Yeah.
He wrote some of the best Joker.
I recently watched the Mindscape of Alan Moore documentary done 10, maybe 20 years ago. Dude's batshit crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care how amazing he is.
You don't want to be in an alley with him.
No, I don't. When I first read The Watchmen,
a comic and then stab you.
Yeah,
Please bring back the Joker with the shirt.
yeah.
You.
First thing I noticed on The Watchmen is they have on the back of the book the photos of Dave Gibbons and Alan Moore.
Yeah.
And Alan Moore with that beard just looks like somebody who needs to be locked up.
Yeah. Well, have you ever seen his hands? He's got one of those full finger claw.
Oh, he's got 6 or 7.
Yeah, now he's got tons of them. The first picture I ever saw him, he only had one, and at the same time, I was like, "You cut people."
He's not weird.
He's not safe to be alone.
But anyway, back to the story. The library, after holding a meeting, they refused to pull it. They told the parents to go screw themselves, basically, and said, "No, this is literature." And
Batman, leave him alone.
yeah, stuff like this happens in literature.
That's true.
You know,
So they were objecting not to the gun violence.
They were objecting
to
to
the implication, possibly, of rape.
yes,
But when you're a kid,
that's
you don't
what
really think about that. You're just
No.
thinking, oh my goodness, she was shot.
Yeah.
For example, I had Lewis watch a movie that I used to watch when I was little a couple days ago, and it's implied that in the cartoon, a woman gives a man a blowjob because they get up and she goes, "Did you hear something?" And he comes up from over here and says, "No, I didn't."
The Road to El Dorado.
Oh yeah.
And as a child, I never got anything from
No.
that. To me, it was just like, okay, they sat up.
Wait,
What
that
else?
scene's in there?
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go back and watch.
I'm gonna
that.
rewatch that.
I have it on DVD.
And his hair's all
somewhere.
It's
messy. He's got like a smile on his face.
Oh man.
But there are a lot
He's
of
like-
movies
he's like,
or
"Now I get to go
shows
find a
that
city of
are
gold."
like that. That I used to watch, things that as a kid that I look back. I was just thinking about this the other day. Oh my gosh, I watched that. Like,
Yeah, I do that
Holy
sometimes,
crap.
too.
Remember, like,
Yeah.
High School Animaniacs? All this stuff.
Oh, my
that you
goodness.
didn't catch before.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, at least Animaniacs has a tendency to be intellectual humor.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
references to Pavlov and stuff that no kid would ever catch.
Hey, whose dog is this? Pavlov's.
You know, they did the Les Mis parody
They did.
Oh, yeah.
that I
Run,
didn't
Fell,
catch. Run, Fell, Run.
There you go.
Yeah. I never put that together until a few years ago.
Yeah, I watched that as a kid and then went back and watched it as an adult after watching this new Les Mis, and it's
Pretty spot on.
it's pretty on par. It's 30 minutes, so they have to cut
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff out. But,
Yeah. But speaking of the comics and libraries, I actually recently found out. I don't know if this is still true, but the University of Michigan used to have the largest comics archive in the country.
I believe they still do.
Yeah.
They
I
have a
forget
lot
who
of
it was. I think it was. I can't remember. He works for DC now, but he went there when they had it, and they let him check out Wonder Woman #1.
Well, it was All Stars number 8, I think.
Yeah, but the first appearance of Wonder Woman.
First appearance. Because the thing is, when I was younger, comic books were despised.
Yeah.
They really were. I was probably the last generation of geek who
They're still ridiculed for having
You're on the
comics.
battleground.
Yeah, it was still ridiculed for having comics. Now it's cool. Now it's hip. My little sister wears, Deadpool pins to high school and stuff. It's like, when I was a kid, no one would have got that.
Oh yeah.
And B, it just, that was something you got ridiculed for.
Oh yeah.
In high school, I had my small group of friends who we all enjoyed the content, but we didn't really talk about it too loudly.
Nobody really accepted it because I'm younger than you, and when I was in high school, it was just starting to shift.
Mm-hmm.
I brought an old stack of comics and we did a reading thing where your second period of every day, you had to read something. They never said it couldn't be comics, so I brought in a stack of comics, and everybody's like, "Dude, you got comics?" And we started reading those, and the teacher at first was like, "You can't read comics. You know what? You're reading. Forget it."
You're reading, yeah.
And we would read those, but there was still that base of ridicule, like, "You like comic books?"
Yeah.
I was reading in high school, same kind of thing. I was reading Watchmen.
Ooh.
And my English teacher was cool enough to say, okay, but you have to read the text in between the books.
Good.
Because if you've ever read Watchmen, there's these text pieces after each story that follow through. And most people never read that content.
No, they don't.
And
There's supposed to be a lot of Easter eggs in that content.
there is.
Yeah.
There's a lot. A lot of stuff that did actually make it to the film were in the those early pages.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
The comedian killing Kennedy and stuff like that.
Yeah, they actually put that in a flashback, and I remember, like, the moment I saw it in the movie, I was like, I remember reading that. And I think they'd actually put that in. But so now let's go ahead and try and get a little information from everybody. Let me ask this question real quick. Your first comic?
Oh, it was a Steve Ditko, Stan Lee Spider-Man. It was, I believe, issue number 12, the first appearance of the Chameleon.
I feel really vague on mine now. I'll go last.
I remember reading. I don't even know where it came from. It was a Silver Age book.
A bank, maybe.
A bank. My uncles had their collection, which I got to read fairly regularly, but they didn't have anything going that far back. So even as today, I don't know where that comic.
You have no idea where it just popped up from.
Where it popped up from, but I remember reading it, and I was 5 or 6, and I remember being confused as hell because the Chameleon, he's a villain who dresses up like as other characters.
Yeah.
And he one of those classic Spider-Man stories where he framed Spider-Man.
Yeah, of course.
And I remember
everybody frames Spider-Man. He's a menace.
He's a menace. James Jonah Jameson.
He's been trying to tell us all his life.
Yeah. But I remember the cops coming in and trying to arrest Spider-Man. I remember just being confused.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. Why would the cops be after Spider-Man?
Oh, to be a child.
I love how you can remember your first comic, but you can't remember something you said last week.
Oh, yeah.
That's different. They're
Man, it mattered. No.
Yeah, whatever.
Like he's the only one that happens to.
Happens to everybody. Oh, man. Remembering breakfast sucks for me.
All right, Sarah, you seem to be fairly read in
first
comics.
Okay, my first comic, because I didn't start reading them profusely until I was a bit older and my cousins had them. Mine was X-Men's, what was it? The stories, it was about Rogue and her wanting to not have her powers anymore. Can't remember the name of the comic at the moment. I actually still own it. I went bought and bought it.
You went bought and bagged it?
Yes. But no, I can't remember the name of the series it was from.
Probably Uncanny.
Yeah,
I
it sounds
think
like
it
an
was
Uncanny story.
Yeah, actually, I think it might have been Uncanny X-Men.
And then you just decided I really like this.
Yeah, but even from that, I decided I didn't even like Marvel as much as I liked DC.
No, I did the same thing. I'm a huge DC fanboy. Like, I started with Marvel, and then as soon as I could, I was like, no,
DC.
Batman.
Guys wearing a Marvel shirt. I'm a DC guy. You know what? I'm a Marvel guy. For those of you at home, I'm wearing a Batman shirt.
Well, I'm over here wearing a Super Mario shirt, so fuck y'all.
And he's like, I never played the games. Oh, come on, Goonies. She's wearing the Goonies.
True.
She liked Chunk.
That shuffle.
She's like,
Shuffle.
she's like that shuffle just it's up. Your first comic.
Oh gosh, my first comic. I'll be honest, I haven't really gotten into comic books as a media form until the last 3 or 4 years.
Why are you on this pod? No.
I've been in comic characters and video games and all that kind of stuff since I was a child, but the actual books I haven't been into until like the last 3 or 4 years. But my first comic book I ever read was something about X-Force. I had no idea who the characters were, no idea what was going on. I just thought it was kind of cool. But I've been into the video games for the longest time. I've played, what was it? Separation Anxiety on the Sega Genesis back in the day. The first Spider-Man game where he's trying to fight Green Goblin in like a carnival setting, and it's a 2D scroller, and he can shoot webs and swing, kind of.
Yeah. Those games weren't all that great.
No. They didn't have great diversity, but
no, they really didn't.
They were just neat to see.
I loved in that was the thing about my generation of nerd. Is you were thankful to get something close to it.
Yeah.
Like the Dolph Lundgren Punisher film. He doesn't even have a skull on his chest.
No.
But you were thankful. They were calling him the Punisher.
Yeah. It's good enough.
The little skulls on the knives. Like, you were just thankful, like, yes!
Everybody in his generation
this.
was crying, going, it's good enough!
It's good enough.
I kind of feel like, and I might be the only one, but I feel like the first big name comic book movie that brought respect to the genre was the first Spider-Man movie.
It was a game changer.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a game changer, but the first comic book film that was actually really treated respectfully, in my opinion, and it had a big budget, was Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
And it's true to that comic book.
That's very true.
It really is.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people out there that don't remember Dick Tracy as a comic. They remember it as a cartoon.
As the cartoon.
Remember him as a good comic.
And that's one reason why I think it was treated really well with respect. Now, Spider-Man, that was one of the first ones really where they actually brought in writers from the industry.
Yeah.
And I feel like what happened was it proved to Hollywood that comic books are a medium worth investing money into.
Well, yeah, because now they're seeing, there's this wealth of untapped character and story that they haven't even really looked at.
No.
And
I mean, they put a movie out of Supergirl and a horse. I mean, come on. Why do we need that?
As a kid, I loved that movie.
Really?
I really did.
As a kid, I didn't.
Well, you might have a different opinion on Supergirl.
No,
My Supergirl needs a horse.
I loved Supergirl, and I adored the comics.
No, horse don't want Supergirl.
I think it was just too comical for me, even though it wasn't really a comedy. But to me, it was just a bit silly.
It was, and the thing that took me out of that film...
She can fly! What's she doing on that thing?
She'll get a horse.
Was there's a scene where they show a picture of Christopher Reeve's Superman, and she's like, "Oh, that's my cousin," kind of thing. But Christopher Reeve obviously didn't do the Supergirl film.
Yeah.
So it just kind of really took you out of the film.
Yeah.
And that was the one downer to that movie.
That pulled you away from it really bad.
But it's not a good film by any means. It doesn't really stand out.
Okay, so Maylene, your first comic.
Well, I was kind of like Lewis in that I didn't really come to comics until a couple of years ago. Which I know, Mike. I know. Why am I here? I got it.
Her childhood, she
You're
actually
here by
read
luck.
real
No.
books like
I'm here because I'm
The
dating.
Hunchback. And stuff.
Well, you read real literature. I'm sure we've all done that.
Yeah.
We've read books without,
Without
pictures.
pictures?
Well, yeah, because like he
I
said,
know, it's a great concept.
I grew up reading classic literature, and I read The Hunchback. I think when I was like 10.
That's
Dark story, and so comic books automatically were the next transition.
Dark.
But
dark.
the first.
This dude dressed as a bat punches people in the throat.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
there.
And he gets away with it too.
But my
I needed a
first,
mask and I could
my
do
first
it.
comic, was The Watchmen. Actually,
Oh, wow.
so I kind of came in with high expectations, But yeah, that was
And then
my
she saw
first.
a scene where the comedian tries to rape the first Silk Spectre, and she's like, "Whoa, this is way better than a hunchback Frenchman in a church."
Well, I don't know. He had some pretty wild parties in the bell tower. I can tell you that much right now.
The bells.
But yeah, and so I remember.
Friends were a
reading
little
it.
rigid.
I remember reading it and thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is really, really demented, and I love it, and it's amazing." And I remember just right away being intrigued with Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, yeah.
That character, like,
I know why you liked him.
Yeah.
Well,
you
of
just
course.
sold yourself down the river just by naming him first.
Yeah.
Well, I
If you say it, I got problems.
What can I say? It's, I like a guy who's
I like my guy muscular and blue.
blue. Yeah,
You know what I mean.
Blue's my favorite color. So,
But it,
Is that why I saw 3 pounds of latex blue paint in your bedroom the other day?
What we do is what we do.
What we do is what we do. Leave our business.
It's just blue. Blue is my favorite penis.
I mean, no.
Who invited Freud?
Take that cigar out of your mouth right now.
Well, for me, my first comic was another X-Men, and it was actually a Wolverine and Gambit story.
Oh.
It was the end of a run, actually, and they were fighting each other to get to, I forget this guy's name. He was a little guy with half a face, and Psylocke ends up driving him insane. And the two most memorable scenes I remember from that book as a little kid was Gambit throwing exploding cards into robot Wolverine, and I'm like, they're friends. Like I think I was 5 or 6. I'm like, they're friends. What are you doing? And then the other one is him getting into an elevator in a world filled with nothing but Psylocks, and it's like you're doomed.
those old X-Men books,
They were pretty psychedelic.
they were, and the problem that I had, especially as a young reader with the X-Men, was if you missed one issue,
You missed a lot of stories.
you missed a lot. You could not miss a single issue without losing what was going on.
You lost a lot of continuity because they made hard turns in those 22 pages.
They kept that pretty consistent in the 90s cartoon, too.
Oh, yeah.
I remember missing an episode and just being lost.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And
There was
a lot of people don't realize that you couldn't just TiVo something back then.
No.
No.
If you
No.
missed it, you missed it.
Yeah.
I remember watching one episode and I'm like, yeah, okay, this is how the story's going. And I missed an episode and I came back and it's like Xavier and Magneto are in the Savage Lands. Wait a minute,
Yeah.
how'd that happen?
See, and I might not have had the comic book introduction, but I did have the 90s X-Men show, Spider-Man, Batman and Superman animated series, so that I definitely got.
Kevin Conroy for the win.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
sorry.
Those cartoons were so well done.
Mm-hmm.
Even The Tick was a great
Tick.
Oh, yeah.
adaptation. Yeah.
I just got a Tick comic on Free Comic Book Day.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, it was great.
Well, I
Yeah.
love The Tick. Especially if you read the older comics, because it started off as a black and white indie book, really adult orientated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
Well,
very
they played
sexual.
real true to that when they did those few episodes in the live-action show a few years back.
Yeah. See, with the animated series, they focused on the superhero stuff,
Yeah.
and in the live action, they didn't have the budget, so they focused on the adult content.
Which was like the superheroes trying to live everyday lives.
The two combined,
Batman was
you get
Puerto
the
Rican.
yeah, the two combined, you get the comic because all that stuff was in the comic.
Well, it was funny because they made Batman Puerto Rican in the live action. It was hilarious.
Yeah, well,
And
they changed in Batman Well versus
It wasn't Wonder Woman. It was like she
Lady
was like,
Liberty.
Yeah, Lady Liberty.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because I remember her having a torch.
Yeah, they did it. I like the live action show. I think it should have lasted a little bit longer.
I think it should have lasted a little bit longer. Wasn't it Patrick Warburton that played
Yeah,
the Tick?
yeah.
Mhm.
That was
That,
one
you
of
know-
his like first big things, right?
Yeah, because one of his main things, because he did a couple bit parts on the Seinfeld show.
But he wasn't huge by
But
then.
nobody ever made it. Then he became Brock Sampson, and I was
Yeah.
like, I love Patrick Warburton.
Go Team Venture.
Great voice actor.
I love when
Oh,
Brock
he's
gets
great.
launched out into space and everybody thinks he's dead and he comes
He
back
comes-
and he's just like, I'm cold.
he's like, I need to go lay down for a minute.
That should have killed
And
you.
the lady's like, you're such a man. But one thing, he actually drives a red '69 Charger.
Nice.
So could you imagine working at a McDonald's, loving that show, have that, see that car pull up to your drive-thru and just hear, yeah, I'll have a Happy Meal or something. You would not get that guy's order wrong.
No.
Be like, do you need Hank in the car?
I just took the credit card number from the Tick.
And he had the Brock Sampson hair.
And I love how the Tick is legitimately like from a mental institution.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
That's one of the main comic covers. I remember the Tick,
Yeah.
him in a straitjacket.
Yeah, yeah.
that was the first indie comic book. Was him in a straitjacket, and he even says like, I don't know my origin, and he proclaims himself to be like the king of Poland.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like way out there.
You know, because
He
the
doesn't know where he's
original
from.
concept of the Tick, which has evolved way past that, but the original concept was if someone was truly insane in a comic book world, no one would tell the difference.
That's true.
You know?
It's hard to, you know, when I first saw everything about the Tick, I was like, okay, is he crazy or just a superhero?
No, I loved that cartoon, and it wasn't
It was
until
great.
later I went back and got the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really great.
And
But,
in the free comic that I got, they don't really. I mean, it's not a huge thing anymore to mention how crazy he is and just trying to function. But
Well, because they've
They-
had other really mentally
Yeah.
deteriorated characters,
Yeah,
so
they-
he's pretty tame by some standards now.
I don't know. I kind of don't like that though, because in the comic that I got, they treat him as if he's just like a simpleton and just slow and stupid,
Mm.
which
He used to be
not.
really crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was legitimately insane.
The first, the Tick in the Big Cities, the first trade, I always loved it because it parodied some of the Frank Miller's Elektra Daredevil stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And they're fighting ninjas on a roof, which is always great in any comic. And he throws a chimney at a group of ninjas, and they all disband and flee. And then, like, maybe 20, 15 pages later, you have a ninja talking to a bad guy. And he goes, he threw a chimney at us! What were we supposed to do?
Of course, bad guy being a bad guy. You take it.
You know? So I always loved the Tick. I always loved those fringe
He's
characters.
been interesting.
The one character who's along those lines, not nearly as famous, is Cerebus, the aardvark. And they're trying...
Never heard of it.
Never heard of Cerebus?
Cricket.
No.
Okay. Cerebus is the
You're in
oldest...
uncharted territory now.
Here there be monsters.
Cerebus is one of the oldest indie comics ever.
Well, it makes sense because aardvark is like one of the first words in the dictionary. So.
That's true.
We're going to make a superhero that's going to be completely insane. What do we make it? Get the dictionary. Aardvark.
Aardvark.
We got it.
We don't want to try too hard. Let's just go with the first word we see. Aardvark.
But Cerebus the Aardvark is a Conan parody.
Oh, Lord.
And it starts off with him as this Conan barbarian-ish character And they parodied them they parodied Red Sonja, they parodied all these
Oh,
stuff.
man.
And it went on for almost over a decade. It's been
Wow.
in print to the point to where they did several different trades where the characters evolved over the 20-some-odd years.
Holy crap.
To the point to where when they ended the story, he was the Pope.
I eat the ants for the Lord.
Makes sense.
He became Pope. And they've been trying to get a movie in works for a long time, like an animated film.
I could imagine the executives in the boardroom. He eats ants. And he's the Pope. We might make money on this.
Now, I know what you're thinking, but don't think anteater.
Think more like long-nosed Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he's still alive. He can play the part.
In a Pope hat.
Ah! I eat ants!
Get down!
Get to the chopper while I eat these ants.
But that's the film I'm actually looking forward to is if they ever make it.
Pope anteater.
All the sequels like Arnold the Anteater.
Cerebus the Aardvark.
Well, sadly, there's a lot of comic book movies that are
The
just
end of the
stuck
trilogy,
in
How I Became the Pope.
development hell.
Oh yeah.
That's just how it is, and I hate that. But
Well, they're trying to get the Dark Universe greenlit with Guillermo del Toro.
I'm
Or
okay
DC.
with no more films or shows really of comic books being made. I'm so much into the original content that I feel like making more TV shows or movies, live action.
You're dropping
Partner's
Agents of
okay.
S.H.I.E.L.D. really hard right now.
I'm sorry, but it's just
no, honestly,
My question for that show, actually...
Well, here I have a different opinion on that because as someone who's making indie comics, I'm hopeful to get a TV deal or a movie deal right now, because that's where the money is.
Oh, I want to see who they get the voice of Mr.
Yeah.
Cuddles. I want to hear the voice of Mr.
And
Cuddles.
honestly,
Like, he's a little teddy bear, and I just want to hear, like, somebody be like, get out of this house right now, this is my little world.
Because you hear all the time in the indie world, guys saying, "Oh, well, I sold the rights to this character, I sold my movie rights," and so, and they get movie money.
honestly, I'd
Yeah.
rather see an angelically possessed bear over an aardvark.
Over an aardvark.
Or whatever it was.
Okay, we got 2 movies to pitch to you today. We got an aardvark Pope and an angel-possessed teddy bear.
With an eye patch.
You can't get
Got
away
an
from
eye patch.
religion.
Either way, we're talking about Jesus. Your choice is, you want cute and cuddly or really long tongue?
Which can go
Oh,
into
Jesus
some-
Aardvark, it's perfect.
He ate fire ants for your sin.
And when he talks, all you hear is...
Walking on
Aardvark,
water.
Jesus, save us.
Loaves and fishes and ants.
I think my idea is more along the lines of like the superhero comics, just because doing them live action more and more, it's just focusing on the visual effects rather than the story.
Right. I get
Unfortunately,
what
that's
you're
what a
saying.
lot of
Yeah,
movies are.
we get what you're saying. It's just they're doing it now and so close together. There's a lot of money in it, but also we finally have the technology where you can see the stuff that they did in the comics live action. And I think that's one thing that a lot of comic fans have been dying to see in reality.
A phoenix that actually looks
I'd like to
a
actually see
phoenix.
like a phoenix that could do something, an Iron Man that actually flies and
A
shoots.
phoenix that destroys the sun,
Yeah.
is possible.
It's possible now. Like 20
See,
years
like,
ago,
The
no.
Rocketeer was wonderful.
Oh, I love the
Oh,
Rocketeer.
man.
And there wasn't too much.
Everybody I
of
know
it.
hated that, but I'm like, well, except you guys. But I loved the Rocketeer.
Everyone hated it.
Well,
Everyone hated it.
the one thing
I thought Cliff
We
Stewart
loved
was
it. No,
awesome.
everybody hated it.
We thought it was great. No, you didn't.
You hated it.
one thing that pissed me off is it just had its 20-year anniversary.
And they didn't really do anything for it.
The Blu-ray came out,
That was it.
no special features.
I didn't even hear about
Yeah.
Blu-ray.
No,
Yeah.
It's out on Blu-ray, no special features. I have it on
It's
DVD.
You're supposed to have a
It's-
running comic now again.
Oh yeah.
They brought
IDW.
it back last year.
IDW is doing some great work.
Yeah, they
with
brought
Rocketeer.
that back
Ooh,
and the
this summer they're doing a
and the
Rocketeer crossover with the Spirit.
Really?
Yeah, I'm looking
Ooh.
forward to
That'd be
that.
great. The Shadow's supposed to have a running comic now after like 30 years.
Yeah, IDW got the Shadow up and running again.
I don't care. I loved the Shadow, and Alec Baldwin's crazy now, but he was a great Shadow in the movie. I loved the movie.
Now?
Here's the one thing that I wish they had done with that
insane.
film. And it's just purely like nostalgia, and I know they never would have even thought about it. But because he transforms, like Alec Baldwin transforms with
He gets a crook nose and a more slopish forehead.
I wish they had just, and his mouth is covered up anyway.
Oh yeah, perfectly.
I wish they had just used Orson Welles' dialogue from the old radio show.
Oh, that'd be great.
Like that, because Orson Welles has the Shadow's voice.
Oh, he does.
Like he is the Shadow.
Yeah. Well, Alec Baldwin, he says the opening line. He says, "Who knows what evil lurks in the heart of men? The Shadow knows." And he does a fairly good job, but you need Orson Welles.
Yeah, like that's the one thing I wish they had done. But that's the one thing that I love in the '90s. You had a resurgence of these pulp heroes. This speaks to what we're doing now with the pulps. You had, the Shadow. You had Zorro came later.
Oh,
really.
Zorro! I loved Zorro.
But you have
I used to stay up till midnight to watch the old 1950s live action show. And I always sang along with it, and I couldn't sing it too loud because my room was next to my parents. I'd always be like, Zorro, Zorro. And one time my mom was just like, you shut up right now. And so I was like, Zorro, Zorro.
But like in the early '90s, you had a resurgence of the Phantom, the Rocketeer.
Billy Zane was a great fan.
The Shadow and Dick Tracy all kind of came out within a fairly close span of each other. It was a great little pulp renaissance.
Yeah.
And I love those pulp heroes. That's why we brought back a pulp magazine.
Well, I think the reason why there was such a big resurgence in the 90s is everybody was starting to go really big sci-fi. That was the start of the massive sci-fi resurgence, honestly. And then I think people were honestly starting their burnout back then, and that's whenever they saw stuff like The Shadow, The Phantom, and Dick Tracy and the Rocketeer, and these were guys that had nothing to do with aliens or space. Some of them had like a special ability, or they were just trained really well, and they fought crime, and it made you believe that, if I tried real hard, I could fight crime too, almost like a Batman-esque kind of thing.
And I love the Phantom. My one complaint with the Phantom is...
Don't say Ghost Dad.
No, not Ghost Dad. My one complaint with the Phantom is I don't like the fact that you have a character who's known for dying.
Yeah.
That's my one complaint. Like, because I dig the Ring. Like, that they didn't really touch on it in the movie.
Yeah.
But in the old comics, that was something like he would punch someone so hard and leave an imprint of the skull.
Yeah. Yeah.
He only did that once or twice in the movie, but that was a big thing.
Yeah, the Phantom, great character. They tried to bring it back recently.
I hated what they did with, you have body armor now.
No, yeah, just,
It's like, no, put him in the Billy Zane unitard and have him punch people.
and that's the big problem I feel like we're having nowadays, that it's so very easy to take a well-known comic or pulp icon and just throw money at it and mistreat it. That's exactly what I felt like was happening with the pilot episode for Arrow. I was at Comic-Con last year. I was in the room when they played the pilot episode, and I shit you not, everybody in that room was meh about it.
Yeah.
Nobody loved it. The best thing that everybody loved was when they did that Twilight joke in the very beginning. That was it. Everybody laughed. The rest of it,
That surprises me.
They got a guy who was very, very pretty, but could not act himself out of a paper bag.
I want to see the goatee. Is that wrong?
No.
Let him grow the flipping goatee.
Because that's what Oliver Queen's known for having.
That awesome.
Yeah.
The goatee.
The Robin Hood-esque goatee.
Mm-hmm. You knew that the guy didn't know the character. He didn't know what he was doing. He was just a male model who could.
He was just a pretty face that they.
Well, he was in that show Hung.
Case rested.
I never saw it, but I know.
I watched a couple things and I saw Thomas Jane and I was like, "You were the Punisher. You do not male prostitute. You were the Punisher. Have some standards, man."
I love Thomas Jane. He's actually doing a Western.
Yeah, I heard. He's supposed to be doing a Western, but he was I loved him as the Punisher.
Oh, yeah.
He's by far my favorite Punisher. I wish they would do another one with him.
Well,
he actually paid for a digital short out of his own pocket to do it, and it's crazy. It's like he's the Punisher, but he quit.
Dirty laundry.
And he's just dirty laundry. He's doing his laundry, and he sees this kid about to be killed by these gangbangers, and he walks in and he's talking to Ron Perlman, who's in a wheelchair, and he's like, I used to do what you're thinking about doing, and look what it got me. And he shows to his wheelchair, and he's like, well, I'll take the bottle of Jack Daniels, and it's the big one. And he comes out and he beats the crap out of like 5 or 6 guys with just a bottle of Jack Daniels. And he kills everybody except for the head guy. And the head guy, he breaks the joints in his legs and his arms so he can't move. And he pours the Jack Daniels all over him and down, back away from him a little bit, lights his Zippo and sits it on the ground. And he's like, I'll leave your judgment to the people. And this woman walks up who he'd raped at the beginning of the scene, and she just looks at him and lights him on fire. And you have no idea what's going on. You just think he was just some badass guy that just kicked the shit out of these gangbangers. But the kid's like, you forgot your shirt, and he's like, you have it, it's got a hole. And the kid holds it up, and it's the Punisher shirt. And it looks just like the one that he wore in the movie, too.
No, it's different. It's a different skull, because the skull they did on that one was, Dirty Laundry served as a double thing, because it was the new skull that Tim Bradstreet had designed.
It looked like the one from the movie, didn't it?
No, it was the new skull that Tim Bradstreet had designed for the comics.
Oh, okay.
And Thomas Jane and Tim Bradstreet are friends. In fact, they own their own indie company. Oh, God, what's the name of it? It just popped out of my head.
But he had just to say one thing, he had a Batman where he had a Dark Knight Rises moment where he's like, I was the Punisher, but I quit. Yeah, it's like, okay, sound like Bruce. I was Batman, my girlfriend died, quit 8 years.
Batman, Dark Knight Rising actually pissed me off.
He got shot. That's why he quit for 8 years.
No, Dark Knight Rising pissed me off.
My girlfriend died, I quit for 8 years. But your parents, you know what? I did it for them, but she was awesome.
No,
way better than my mom.
When in the comics, when someone dies in the comics, it forces Batman to go harder.
Exactly. I think he shouldn't have quit. I think in those 8 years there should have been stories of like, did you see when Batman punched that guy like so hard his face exploded?
Like the first
Batman, don't kill anyone.
The first five
but then
minutes.
He said sorry to the corpse.
The first 5 minutes of Dark Knight, where like the bat signal shines. And you see a drug deal, and the guy's like, no, not tonight.
He's like, no, not tonight. Or, like, in The Dark Knight also, whenever he's like, you guys used to do your dealings at night and everything, and now you're in the back of a restaurant in broad daylight taking your meetings, so this guy scared you so much.
Your balls drop off?
Yeah, exactly.
That first 5 minutes, like, that's how The Dark Knight Rises should have began.
It should have been. Yeah. It should have been at least him on a rooftop going, Rachel's dead, but I fight on. Or something. Not like, she's gone, so I'm going to go be Green Arrow in my bedroom.
It didn't feel like a Batman.
With my cane. He even had the beard. He was practicing archery, and he even had the goatee. It's like, really?
He was thinking about picking something else up. We all know it.
It didn't feel like...
Oliver knows how to do it.
Batman, like, I get they were trying to do the Dark Knight Returns a little bit. Which, in that book, he took 10 years off. But he was 50.
He was in his 50s. He felt like he was at the end of his rope, and he quit, and then he had the mustache. But one thing I liked from the Dark Knight Returns book is when he gets out of the shower and he looks at the mustache and he shaves it off. Like it's a perfect homage, like the Batman going, you don't need that.
Yeah.
Like you could see in his eyes as he looks at it, it's like the Batman's just right in the back of his head going, we don't need that. We need a cowl.
Don't be
something.
so uncomfortable with our cowl.
We put our mask on, that's gonna scratch like a bitch. Do we remember how to shave? Alfred's gone.
Well, Dark Knight Rises pulled a lot from Dark Knight Returns, as well as like
Magic Knee Brace.
Magic Knee Brace.
Yeah, that's it.
The Magic Knee Brace, the Colts.
He took it off halfway through the movie, never limped again.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Halfway through, he took it off,
magic,
and he was fine. It's like,
and why didn't he put it on sooner?
Yeah, it's like, how about you don't make going to the fridge a fight for life? Slap that bad boy on.
Didn't you hear all bad boys actually think pain helps them? Like,
oh Lord,
no.
That milk's gonna taste so much better when I get there with my throbbing knee. Yeah.
That plays into human psyche though, because I had an aunt who, after a car crash, because she was texting, don't text while you drive.
I have speak text, so I'm good.
She lost the mobility in her legs, but the doctor said if she tried, she could walk again. But she just mentally was so upset about losing the movement in her leg that she gave up. And therefore now she's still in a wheelchair. So
she quit Rachel Dawes to not working legs.
she just, it's a thing that the human brain does. Yeah. It's like, okay, things are bad. You know what? Just leave them the way they are.
Yeah, it's
So
like,
I
it's
feel
like
like
things are
Batman
this bad
could
can't get any
fall
worse
into
if I
that.
don't do anything else. Kind of.
Well,
thought.
that's I understand what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing is, Bob Kane designed Batman to be human perfection.
That's
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah,
But-
other guys came in.
But with
and-
that
and-
frame, we've made the Bat God.
Well, yes, but like
That's one reason why I like Earth One, Batman Earth One.
Batman Earth One with him making all the mistakes.
He doesn't make the jump. That's the coolest part.
Yeah, that's on my to be read list actually.
Oh, I
Yeah.
have it if you want to borrow.
Oh
it.
yeah,
After me.
Get in line, bitch.
Yeah.
You're wearing a Super Mario shirt. Man Bat gets it.
Man,
Yeah, challenge of the Man Bat.
nice.
Yeah, which they just brought back into the 52.
Yeah.
I can sit here and talk about
I
comics
love
all
Man
day.
Bat from,
Oh, we
from the
could
cartoon.
too.
Oh, yeah.
My god, it was great.
Oh, it was great. When they did the new one where they had the one Joker where he's got the giant teeth and the straight jacket arms.
You mean the Batman?
Yeah, the Batman. I think.
Yeah.
That one.
The one.
The man, when they brought the Man Bat into that one, I just thought that was a really great. That was just really great. And he worked for Wayne Enterprises, which was neat.
I loved the Batman. They did one episode with
Is he on the Facebook?
the Facebook. They did one episode
With
with
his partner, the Robin.
but they did one episode with Far Flung Future, where they did the Batman from Dark Knight Returns,
Yeah.
and they didn't use that storyline because they didn't use Carrie Kelly. They used Nightwing and then Oracle
Yeah.
in this flashback.
But you see Oracle and you're like, oh, they had her get shot.
you know,
Did
like
she get raped?
like
Oh.
In the bullet hole.
The bullet hole.
She starts having a flashback mid-fight. He stuck it in and it hurt so bad. And the kids are like, Mommy, what's she talking about?
now actually that brought
Play
up
with your action figures, please.
that actually brought up a point I wanted to talk about earlier. The whole rape thing.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe the Joker raped her.
It always comes back to the rape.
It always comes back to rape. I don't believe the Joker raped her because the Dick Spring Joker from the 60s wouldn't have.
No, he wouldn't have.
So that's my
He wouldn't
I
have
get-
shaved his mustache either.
that's true. But because we're dealing with one character who's been written by different
Yeah.
people over a longer period of time, I don't believe that Joker could devolve to the point to rape.
No.
I don't think he could.
No.
I don't think so.
And like out of all the interpretations of the Joker that I've seen, like I know he's either so sane that he goes crazy because of it, or he's just some chaotic nutball. I've never seen him as someone to sexually violate someone like that.
Frank Miller wrote it that way.
Really?
In Batman and Robin, the All-Star Batman and Robin, there's a
I still need
scene.
to finish that.
There's a scene
That's
where
also Frank Miller.
it's
though.
Frank Miller.
Oh,
yeah.
he's twisted.
Yeah, there's a scene where the Joker seduces an attorney, even at looking like the Joker, and he sleeps with her.
Hmm.
But it's
But he didn't rape her.
He didn't rape her. It was consensual.
There's no bullet hole involved.
Seduction is different than rape.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
It was the
If
first
there was a
time.
roofie in her
That's probably
court,
the
at court
closest
given
thing.
water, maybe.
Yeah, you know, and I'm just saying Miller can go there. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily
Yeah.
always agree with that.
He can go there though.
Well, the Joker, I think Adam West stated it best, and I've stated in the past recently too. Is the Joker's madness incarnate. He will do anything, but the thing that mainly resembles with him is his sense of humor, as twisted and as messed up as this is what makes him laugh. And I don't see in anyone's demented mind where rape would be funny. Because in his sense of humor, he only does stuff that makes him laugh.
Well, there is the time where he shot Commissioner Gordon's wife, and he didn't laugh.
Exactly.
In No Man's Land.
He did do that, but at the same time, with him not laughing, you actually get a sense of him going, you know,
Like
I
this
messed
is
up.
Yeah, this is effed up.
Yeah. Even somebody with him who's willing to beat a teenager with a crowbar and then blow him up, there's
Yeah.
gonna be a
Yeah.
limit. Because he's...
And that wasn't close to the other limit, the rape limit.
Yeah.
That wasn't it. It was different. It was a different kind of violence.
Maybe somebody else raped Batgirl and like they accused the Joker and he's like, whoa, I would beat her with a crowbar, I'd blow her ass up, I crippled her. Rape's not my bag.
There's things I would do, but I wouldn't do that.
That's wrong. And he's like, I plan on having a girlfriend in the future, and it's kind of hard to get a girlfriend if you got that on your ass.
And that's one of those topics that when it's touched on in comics, it's a huge thing. I mean, that was the whole point of what was it? Identity Crisis.
Identity Crisis.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The great series.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It's
really
not
big.
something that would just be glossed over like that. It
No.
would be a thing.
Well, yeah, if it's gonna be even implied in a comic book, they are going to not show it, but they're gonna let it be known. And a lot of people have.
They won't hide it,
problem.
but they won't trot it out like a show pony.
Exactly.
It's
Well-
gonna be evident.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. To be devil's advocate, Killing Joke was written in the 80s.
Yeah.
They didn't, that was. You just didn't talk about that kind of thing.
That's
and,
true.
and Identity
Well,
Crisis came out 2001, 2002.
Yeah. Around there.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
But here's the thing, back in the 70s, they didn't talk about hardcore drugs like heroin. Speedy did heroin.
Yeah, they brought
And
it
it was
up.
on the cover.
Yeah.
So comics have been...
Sorry, I just thought of Snowflame. Anyone read that comic with
No.
Snowflame in it?
No.
Oh god.
Oh, Lord. Well,
He's addicted to cocaine.
Oh, Lord.
His name's Snowflame.
Nice!
So,
Nice.
well,
How'd you get your name? No reason.
no reason.
I remember when Demon in a Bottle, just alcohol abuse was the biggest thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, Hero in a Bottle with Iron Man.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah, Hero.
Yeah. Because that was... that's when they made him an alcoholic, and
Mhm.
that was a
I
big deal.
was telling Maylene this. In the 70s, Marvel took this weird stance where they took political and social issues and attached them to all the heroes.
That's true.
Iron Man just got the bottle.
Yeah.
Hank Pym got the whole wife abuse story,
Yeah.
which honestly contradicted his character to that point.
Way badly.
The Hulk got the child abuse angle because we found out his rage was a source
Yeah, his
of
dad used to hit him.
Yeah, a source of child
Yeah.
abuse.
Well, they played that up in the Eric Bana movies with the Hulk movie.
Yeah, and
His dad was they never showed his dad actually hit him, but they implied that his dad was a violent person. So they kind of played that up a little bit, and then we deported Ang Lee.
that movie could have been so good. And
It would have been. It could.
again, it was one of those things where it's like, as a fan, you're like, so close.
I remember going and seeing that with my dad, and my dad's like, "This is gonna rock," and I was like, "Calm down a little bit." He goes, "Why?" I was like, "Time your watch. We don't see him for 40 minutes."
Yeah.
And
And
the
when
moment-
you see him, he's got a big baby face.
like the moment you see him was the moment my dad's watch went off. He looked at his watch and went, "I'll be damned."
Yeah, and there's only like 30 minutes of Hulk in the
Yeah.
whole 2
Oh,
hour
yeah.
film combined.
Like him beating the crap out of the tanks with the turret barrel and everything. That was, to me, that was like one of my favorite parts of the movie. It's like, wow, I believe that could happen. And but yeah, like Nick Nolte was in it, and the scary thing is the beard and the hair he has in the movie is the beard and the hair he got arrested with.
Yeah, the famous mugshot.
Because right after they cast him to be in that movie right after he got arrested, and he's like, I could do it.
Well, the one thing I loved about the last Hulk film they did, not the Avengers, the actual
Edward
Hulk.
Norton?
With Edward Norton.
Edward
Yeah.
Norton.
He was a pretty good.
I liked it.
first-hander.
I wish
I didn't.
I wish they could have worked it out and have him.
He refuses to work with Robert Downey Jr.
I know they don't like each other, but I wish they, could have worked it out. But anyway, there's a scene where you have the lightning strike and the Hulk raging at the sky.
Yeah.
And it just spoke to the origin of the character. The character
Yeah.
was based off of Frankenstein.
Yeah, he was.
Stan Lee created him off of Frankenstein and
Well, 'cause
Dr.
he thought-
Jekyll.
Yeah, because he
Mr.
thought about
Hyde.
he read those stories and he thought about, well, what if this was kind of together, and then he thought about the whole rage thing. He thought about because he was an intellectual guy, and he's seen how intellectual guys are very reserved, and he thought about, well, what if all the rage that pent up in them was let out? What would that look like? And he made the Hulk.
And and Kirby, and I love Jack Kirby. He's my favorite artist.
Oh, he was great.
He was that Hulk will always be.
Is that the one with the bowl haircut?
A little bit, yeah.
He got like the scraggly bowl haircut.
But, well, he was.
The only time he
Kirby's-
sits still is when his mom puts that bowl on his head. You're getting a haircut today. Hope no like haircut.
Kirby drew emotion. He didn't necessarily draw like the best anatomy. You know, and he drew the first 5 issues of the Hulk. The very first issue, Hulk was gray.
That's true.
This is true. Yeah, he first appeared as Gray.
Yeah.
He's great. They brought the Gray Hulk back, but he was like the maniacal mastermind.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, the different personalities.
Yeah.
Well, what did they called him something when he was Grey Hulk?
He was
I
just
just
Grey
heard
Hulk. wasn't
Grey
he?
Hulk.
I heard somebody call him a name. Like
Oh.
I don't know, but yeah, Grey Hulk. I didn't like.
Well, we got
Now they have the Red Hulk. I'm
Yeah,
waiting
that's
for
right.
I'm waiting for Blue and Purple Hulk.
blue and purple.
Well,
The
no,
Rainbow
well,
Hulks.
they're all running
Well, it's like
running through a meadow together, making a rainbow of death.
I'm imagining
Smush.
like Care Bears and Power Rangers.
Running from the Hulk. Care Bear's there, and the Ranger's like, nope, run.
Don't forget the Nyan Nyan cat.
Over
the Hulk.
Hulk and a Pop-Tart.
And like right as it's about to get away, like the Purple Hulk grabs his like dinner, eats the Nyan cat. Ooh, kitty flavor.
Well, we're coming to the end of an hour here, so I figured we started right to left. Who's reading what?
Let's So we started going this way. Let's start going from this way on what's your current title or titles.
Right now, I'm reading the New 52 Batgirl.
Ooh.
It's the only one I'm actually enjoying, honestly.
No, I'm not reading Batgirl. Is Gail Simone on that, or that's Batwoman?
That's Batwoman.
That's
yeah.
Batwoman.
Yeah.
She's somewhere in there.
Isn't Batwoman a lesbian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody told me, like, I didn't realize that until somebody posted a joke of, like, Starfire, like, holding her bra, and she's like, we want equal rights for fighting crime, and all the girls are like, oh my gosh, what's she doing? But Batwoman's like, yay. Yeah, and then I read into it, and it's like, oh, she's got a girlfriend.
So what's going on in Batgirl right now?
Honestly, I'm only in about I've only finished one of the comics and then half of another because I'm reading the hardback that my friends let me borrow, and with work and all, I don't have much time to read them.
Okay.
What's your guess? She's fighting crime?
I'm still upset though because I loved her so much as Oracle, so it's a bit tough for me to get back.
With the reboot, she's not in the wheelchair anymore.
No, she's Batgirl
The
again.
killing joke hasn't happened.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, no, it happened, but she recovered from
She
it.
recovered. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
It's
what
like a
Magic back brace? Bruce is like, you think what it did to my knee was great?
Yeah, it didn't kill.
Wait till I strap it to your
You gotta
spine.
love comic books. Everyone heals from
She
everything,
still
even
don't.
death.
One
Oh,
thing
yeah.
I love, I don't know if it's going to spoil anything for any of you, but one of the scenes I love is that she's fighting crime again, and she's kind of subconsciously talking to herself like, you can do this, you can be Batgirl again, and someone
She's almost
points a
scared.
gun at her, and
She
she
crumbles.
freezes, and she can't help anyone, she just freezes.
Almost like a
Mm.
PTSD moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really enjoying it because of that, but still, I loved Oracle, and it's a bit tough for me.
Yeah, well,
I can understand that.
I loved Oracle, but the one thing with the 52 is because they kept some continuity and didn't keep other guys, it really kind of throws me off. And I love
It's not
52.
universal.
My real big question is the Atom.
Hmm.
In one version of the Atom, his wife is dead. What happens there?
We don't know. They're not doing an Atom 52.
Exactly. It's like you rebooted all this. I want to know what happened to the Atom. Is his wife
Really?
alive? Is she dead? Did he go into the bottle?
Well, you got to read all the way to. You got to read The Search for Ray Palmer, and then you have to read Final Crisis to really get that.
Yeah.
Which I could never read all of Final Crisis. I have it, but the second they kill Orion, I was like, this book's stupid.
Well, you know how they're going to start. You know how the original way they were going to start Final Crisis off, right? The original way. They were going to kill Nightwing.
Nightwing, yeah.
They were going to kill. They were going to kill Nightwing.
Dead.
But somebody actually walked up to him and was like, "You can't kill Dick Grayson. He's Robin. We've already lost a Robin."
Yeah.
And then after the 52, it's like, kill a Robin.
Let's see. I'm reading The Dark Knight Returns, and I'm also reading Superman Earth 1. The Dark Knight Returns, of course, it's fantastic. It's phenomenal. I don't need to talk about it.
How far are you into it?
I finished.
Have you seen Reagan yet?
No, I finished Volume 1, and I'm into Volume 2 of it.
All right.
But Earth 1 Superman is just, it's so cool. It takes the Superman origin story that I've always kind of wanted, which is he's not just a super strong, super fast guy. He's also incredibly smart. There's a scene where he's like trying to look for a job in Metropolis, and he goes into this laboratory, and he sees in the background these scientists working on this complex, like mathematical problem, and he's talking to somebody who's trying to be like, okay, what do you want to do? Is this what you want to do as a job? And he writes down something on a note, and he tells him to give it to the scientist. And they hand it to the scientist, they look at the note, they look at the board with the complex problem, they high-five, and then the guy comes back and he says, don't go anywhere. Whatever you do, just don't go anywhere.
Well, in one of the All-Star Superman, you find out that his mind is hardwired to see, has always been hardwired to work faster than others. That's why a lot of the stuff in his fortress was done like before the All-Stars line. But when he got exposed to the sun, overexposed to the sunlight, it just kicked it into even higher gear. So,
I love that Superman story, All-Star.
That was a really great story.
That was a tearjerker for me. I cried like a little baby.
But you know what? Oh, me too. But you know, like in the movie, it's like I'm taking the bottle city of Kandor to a planet where it can grow and become its own planet, and then he takes off, and then he's back like a second later. But in the comic, he was gone for a long time, and you got that feeling because it was like a month before you got the next issue.
Yeah.
So you're like.
But I haven't read Earth 1.
It's pretty cool.
I like the Earth 1 line.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Grant Morrison is doing Wonder Woman Earth 1.
Oh.
They showed
I
one.
might read that book.
It's coming out at the end of this year. They showed one page, and it's drawn like a vase, like vase art.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, like they took the old Roman or Greek vase, and they broke it up like a comic book page.
That's cool.
And it looks great. Like Grant Morrison is one of my favorite writers.
I'd buy a vase with that story on it.
Right? What did you read in my base?
You got a giant vase, and you're just earning it.
I gotta borrow that vase after you.
The killing joke's on a vase, and it's like, you drop the vase, she's crippled! What am I reading? I'm actually reading right now Uncanny X-Force. I actually just pulled it off. I actually just took it off my list. It was the New Age of Apocalypse line that they were doing. And I started reading Batman and Robin again.
Oh.
The first one I picked up for Batman and Robin was actually a free comic book day, and it's Requiem.
Oh, yeah.
The silent issue for after the death of Damian, and I was like, you just see Batman lose it. Because he's sitting there crying and like moping in his chair, and he walks up behind Alfred, who's crying at this unfinished family portrait with Damien in it, and he puts the towel, and you just see him drop the sheet back over the thing, and he goes out into the Batcave, and he takes off in the Batmobile, and you see the Batmobile for some reason just slam through the buttress of a bridge, and like he keeps going, and then there's this shadow image. In the center of it is a shadow of Batman in his cave, and then in each little section behind him, you see criminals like screaming. And Gordon goes up to the top of police headquarters by the bat signal, and there's just dozens of these guys knocked out, tied up, waiting to be arrested. And then it shows him back at the lockers in the Batcave, and he finds a note from Damien. And the note's telling him like, I know you don't want me to go help you fight Leviathan. I know you want me to stay safe. He's like, but I gotta do this. I gotta help you. Mom gave me life, but you showed me how to live it. I love you, Damian Wayne. And that's when he just loses it, and he punches the lockers and picks it up and throws them, and his hands are all bloody, and he just... The last thing you see is him, at the last 2 pages, is him on his knees crying, and then you see the Batman boots and the mask with a Robin actually sitting on the boots, and it says, rest in peace, Damian Wayne.
Now, here's the thing. I loved Damian. I really got to like Damian.
His death was a bittersweet for me.
I don't think they should have killed him.
Grant Morrison, I don't think they should have, but Grant Morrison, he even said, when he first brought him into continuity, he planned on killing him.
And they did. They originally killed him at the end of his first 3-issue arc.
Yeah.
And then he came back.
Yep.
Like, come on. Like, the character is so good. It's a good idea. You have officially added a spoke to the wheel of a continuity that's been around since '39.
Well, when they had
Jason Todd, right?
Well, Jason Todd,
he died, but then they loved him so much.
No, they didn't. Jason Todd.
Everybody hated his guts.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
There was a reason why he was killed. The fans voted.
It was a 900 number vote to kill Jason Todd.
I need to get to read more.
Yeah. The reason why they brought him back.
I have Hush. I just haven't gotten into it.
The reason why they brought him back was
they killed Jason Todd in
They killed Jason Todd.
Yeah.
They killed Jason Todd in Death in the Family, and he was dead for a long time.
Oh, they didn't bring him back until
It was 30, 40 years.
Yeah, they brought
real
him,
time.
They brought him back just a few years ago.
Yeah, what happened was they
That's
did
Red
an issue in Hush where they hinted at the fact that he was still alive. It was just a hint.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it was their best-selling issue. They're like, oh shit, should we bring back Todd?
And then they did the Under the Red Hood.
Yeah. And that's what actually got me back into collecting singles. For a long time, I was just buying graphic novels.
Yeah.
And then Under the Red Hood came out and was like, okay, I'm back. I'm buying weekly or monthly issues.
Why did they hate Todd?
He was a dick. Here's the thing.
He was okay with Dick Grayson. Dick was slightly brash. He was go-getter, but he listened to Bruce, and he actually had an etiquette about him. Like, he fought crime and everything, but he had a respect to him. Jason Todd, no respect. He butted heads with Bruce all the time, and he fought criminals, and he just trashed them, and he was like, he almost had a "I'm better than you" feel to him.
He had
that chip on his shoulder.
He had this chip on his shoulder, and the thing is, what was odd is you could literally put the same text in a Dick Grayson bubble that you could put in a Jason Todd,
and it would sound different.
It would sound different because Jason Todd would come off as an asshole.
Yep.
Just by the character that they had created.
Well, plus, I think it has something to do with how Bruce found Jason Todd.
Jason Todd was a street kid
who was ripping off, was taking the wheels from the Batmobile.
Oh, okay.
So you've got this sense of you're a criminal, but Dick Grayson, when Bruce found him, his parents were killed by the mob.
Yeah, he father figured him.
Yeah, Jason Todd, he's like, I'll teach you to do good things. So that, and then Tim Drake, it's like, you're Batman. Okay, I guess you have to be my Robin.
Damn it! Get in the car.
Get in the car.
He's like, wait, I have a family. They're gonna look for me.
What are you reading now?
I'm reading the Ghostbusters from IDW.
You've been telling me about that. I've been
really
wanting
good.
to pick that up. It's supposed to be a great series.
A great series. It was weird because I was following it from issue 1. They made it to issue 16, and then they jumped back to issue 1. And the reason being is same team, same artist, same group. What happened was in the storyline, the original 4, the team, got kidnapped and got sent to an alternate dimension. They're trying to get their way home. And so you have, I can never remember her name, the secretary.
Annie something.
Yeah.
Annie Potts.
Annie Potts. You have Annie Potts. You have Annie.
We got one.
No, actually, I think that's the name of the actress who played it.
Yeah.
That is the actress.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name now.
But you have.
I've known her as Annie Potts for so long.
I know because I used to watch Designing Women.
Yeah.
I remember going to my grandma's.
So what happens is they got.
That Southern one's such a bitch.
You lost your core team. They're in an alternate dimension, so they had to put together a new makeshift team out of other characters that have appeared in the book.
And it's pretty much that extreme thing.
It's not really extreme. It's a little different. But so you
I hated the girl with the thing on her, with the little one and the
girl is actually the goth chick has transitioned over into the comics.
I hated
the girl with the pink.
But
that girl.
The goth chick, she was running Ray's occult bookstore.
Really?
Yeah. So they brought her into mainstream.
She might be savable.
Yeah.
What about the black kid?
No, it's none of them. She's the only character.
I liked him. He was all preppy.
Yeah, she's the only one from the extreme because it's her. It's Annie Potts. It's this other character who's been a villain for 2 arcs.
Really?
Who's had to come in and be their new...
He bashes in the door, blows shit up. He's like, I'm here to get the Ghostbusters. They're in another dimension. I'll be a Ghostbuster.
Well, what happened is he was in prison. He was in prison at the end of 1 arc, and the mayor had to get him out to help because there's only so many people who know how to run a proton pack and stuff.
That's interesting.
So
could you imagine the classified after that and must know how to run a proton pack? Must be experienced in fission.
So, I mean, really great stuff.
Must not cross the street.
Yeah. Must not cross. So,
guy comes in, what's your name? Wang Dong? It says don't cross streams. I've never done that. Ask all my co-stars. No, the position has been filled.
go home.
So I'm reading Ghostbusters, and then I'm reading TMNT.
Oh,
Again from IDW,
That's
which
one of those ones that I want to get into.
it's pretty good.
that and Ghostbusters is what I like to do.
I'm 2 issues behind
IDW.
on Turtles. I have them sitting in my office. I haven't read them yet.
He just looks at me. He's like, "I'm so scared. What if they kill Splinter again?"
No, because right now they're actually getting into the alien stuff.
Oh, nice. Like
Yeah.
Neutrons?
Yeah, the Utrons and stuff.
Oh, those are some really good stories.
But what's really cool is because in classic Turtle mythos, their house got destroyed again. Their lair is always getting destroyed fairly regularly.
They went through like 5 layers in their original run.
They did. At this point, they're actually held up in an abandoned church.
Nice.
Which is really cool, and they have some sewer access, but like the reason why I love it is there's some great art with Leonardo on the roof of this church next to an angel.
Oh, it's great.
Like they're really playing that up.
Well, he's the one that's always been like the Wrath being like you'd expect to see him in the shadows more, and like maybe up in the rafters of the church with the angel, like because he's always brooding. But Leonardo, there's just something about him, like where he's like, I must stand next to an angel.
Yeah. Outside of those books, I'm following a lot of the 52.
Yeah.
The one I just started following was Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to start reading that one.
Oh, it's the
I am
best.
too.
Is it?
It's the best Wonder Woman run I've ever read. And the thing is, again, going back to the Orion, I'm
She
a New
wearing
Gods.
pants?
No, she's not.
Okay, thank goodness.
I'm a New Gods fan. I love Jack Kirby's Fourth World, and they have her in this. It's weird because it contradicts the Justice League continuity in that in Justice League she's dating Superman.
That just happened this year.
Yeah, in her book, she's getting kind of friendly with Orion.
Oh.
You're just happy because it's Orion. You're like,
He's not dead.
He's not dead.
I'm very
And
happy.
he's getting some.
In fact, in the last issue, he slapped her on the ass.
Huh.
You know, it's like, yeah, Orion. You know?
I think I have a picture of that.
He's getting ballsy.
Yeah.
But she will kill you.
Yeah.
She's like, I come from an island of Amazon.
The
You
last-
know what we do to guys?
The last run of Wonder Woman I read, she was so like, I need baby, that I just can't, I'm so worried about reading anything.
Her biological clock was ticking.
Yeah. That's the point of Wonder Woman. I need to have a
Well,
child.
what they did is they changed her origin drastically.
Okay.
And I love the new
What's
origin.
her origin
I'm gonna
now?
have to
Okay, in the original origin,
Spoilers.
spoilers. The original
The whole thing
origin
wasn't
from the
spoilers
40s was Hippolyta created her out of clay and prayed to the gods, and the gods created her, and she was this woman born of clay kind of thing. Well, they're saying Wonder Woman grew up believing that.
Oh.
And her true father is Zeus.
She's Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
And you have a brother named Percy.
No,
He's a little bit of a douche.
Because a lot of the Greek god stuff's coming back, and they're having.
I love when they have Greek gods.
Oh, every issue.
So-
Like, there's this ongoing story with Poseidon, and I don't know where it's going. Like, every issue they're panning
Who's
away.
writing it?
I don't know, but Tim Sell is doing the art.
Okay, that's nice.
And Tim Sell did
that'll be pretty
Superman
rich.
for All Seasons, Long Halloween, you know.
That's the other one I gotta get is
Yeah.
Long Halloween.
I want to read Long Halloween, and I want to get Superman for All Seasons just because of the narration of the first book.
I have Superman for All Seasons.
Long Halloween. It's
Yeah, I know one. I just can't remember the art. I'm trying.
Oh.
It was very, like,
It's kind of gritty, actually.
gritty, yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
remember because I could not finish it because of the artwork.
And there was
I didn't
a
like Long
pumpkin.
Halloween.
Pumpkin
It
on
was-
the cover.
Yeah,
Right.
Long
I
Halloween
cannot
was this
finish
book
Long
that
Halloween.
everyone praised and loved.
I
didn't
heard about
like
it. I
it.
haven't seen
I
it.
really didn't
Well,
like it.
its interpretations in The Dark Knight were amazing.
Yeah, but I just didn't care for it. I really didn't.
Yeah. I'm the Scarecrow, by the way. I wear a suit.
Yeah, I wear a suit and tie.
I'm
Okay,
the Scarecrow.
Yeah, but the mask, how they explained the mask was great.
Yeah, that was cool.
It's a gas mask.
Okay, Millie?
Okay, well, the two ones I'm really reading are Thor and Hulk.
Thor.
Yeah,
Marvel.
and yeah.
You know, I gave up on Thor a long time ago. Back whenever they killed him for the Ragnarok storyline, I stopped reading it, and they're like, "Thor's back." I'm like, "They're gonna kill him, yeah." I'm gun shy now with Thor.
That's the theme. They're gonna kill him again. They're gonna kill him again.
Yeah, like that. That's how I am now. I'm like really gun shy with Thor. It's like Thor's finally back, and I was like,
Actually,
gonna
what
kill
surprised
him.
me that I didn't realize I would like so much with Hulk. Like I didn't realize
he's
I would enjoy the comic.
Well, when you
book
read
so
half the,
much.
like how they treat him and stuff,
Yeah.
you're like, at first you're like, you just destroy everything. You see how they talk to him, you're like, I want to hug you.
I was like, can I hug you?
That's one reason why I like Hulk is
Ninja?
because he's so misunderstood.
Well, they've really changed it in the Marvel now because Mark Wade's reading it.
Oh, he is?
Or Mark Wade's writing it.
Oh, he is?
And
I was like, well, I'm reading it.
Yeah,
I don't know
you're
if he's
reading
reading it.
You're like, he might be reading it, but I know I am.
I'm reading it when she puts the book down.
Like, the moment that book hits the table, he's like, on
I
it.
put it down, look away for a second. Oh my gosh, what happened?
I was getting a drink!
I was only on page like 5.
He's like, well, I'm on page 10, you gotta wait. But, yeah,
I really
he's been so
enjoyed it,
misunderstood.
and I liked the storyline so far, and it was even a little bit of Iron Man cross in one of the
Oh,
books,
yeah.
and I was like, oh my
Well,
gosh.
Iron Man's
this is
encountered
cool.
him, but he's actually encountered
Yeah.
Iron Man a lot.
Yeah, but like I said, it was just I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to be perfectly honest.
I want to get Hulk 180 and 181.
Good luck with that.
I know.
That's going to cost some money.
I think the latest one I saw go was like for 500 together.
Yeah, 500.
For near mint. That was together though. They cut them and because it was on Comic Book Men, and they said this is like the lowest you'll find, and that was like deal cut. And so I'm like, if I could find those two for $500, I'll buy them.
It's those books are really expensive.
Well,
And
because they're the first appearance of Wolverine.
first appearance of Wolverine, and the thing is, it's the story's not really like Wolverine's in there, but not really.
Yeah, it's the first
Mostly
rendition.
a Wendigo story.
Well, it's a Wendigo story, but he
Yeah.
shows up because they think it's the Hulk doing what the Wendigo's doing. And you know, if you paid real close attention to his claws, they're designed to look like they're in his gloves. They don't
Yeah.
actually make the claws in his hands until years after he becomes continuity.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about the pulp.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
So, by the way,
Why
Brandon
we're
here, he's pretty much the main artist on the book, and almost all the books here at the company. So,
Yeah.
happy pens to you, sir.
Thank you. 8th of Pulp. Issue 3 will come out June 30th.
All right.
Look for it.
Yeah, we pushed it back a
That's
month.
not a writer shilling himself. I'm not in issue 3. I can say it. By issue 2, though, there's a wonderful poem by a handsome young writer.
It's okay, issue 3, it's the bad one.
Amazing.
But issue 3, it's no.
But it's in editorial right now. We got 9 stories. We're finishing. We're not finishing, but we're
Are there continuing comics in this issue?
the Last Templar.
Is that going to continue past this one?
It will, but it won't. We're going to take a break for issue 4.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the big zombie issue.
Issue 4 is a zombie issue, which actually I got some news I haven't told anyone yet, but
Share it to the listeners.
we're
Straight from the table.
James O'Barr has agreed to do the cover, and
Nice.
originally
Nice.
we were going to do a hand pencil cover,
Yeah.
sketch cover. He's going to be doing a full painting,
Hey!
which is what the pulp covers are now anyway. They're just acrylic paintings, really.
Yeah. That's great.
So
That'll be awesome.
it's going to
I
cost.
can't wait to see it.
Although you did tell me that.
Yeah, she knew.
Are you?
I do live with her. I think
Yeah.
You kind of had it.
I had a little spoiler alert.
Right.
A few days ago.
Breakfast is very informative here.
But O'Barr.
That's what you think. I don't eat breakfast.
Obar's coming over for breakfast.
She's running out the door with a Nutri-Grain bar. He screams from from his drafting table.
Guess what?
Wait! The dude that's doing issue 4? Painting! Have a good day at work. Love you, bye.
And he gets a text. Awesome. See you later.
So,
And he's like, you driving?
Yes, I am.
James O'Barr, creator of The Crow.
Are we doing that?
You know what? He doesn't really have anything to do with the movie,
I know, but we're doing it.
but he's actually
Somebody
a
else getting
fairly
shot
nice
now.
guy.
Somebody else is gonna die.
I haven't talked to him, but my business partner and writer, Phil Knox, he's the co-founder of Destiny Comics. He lives in El Paso, and they actually met and had like coffee together.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah, so O'Barr's, from what I understand, is a nice guy.
Nice.
That's exciting. It's always nice when your icons are like cool people in general. You know?
Yeah, and
David
Phil.
Tennant told us not to meet our idol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to David.
You
Well,
listen to David Tennant.
David.
So, but in issue 3 for the poll, getting back on topic, is there any type of story that's heavy in there? Like, is it heavy crime right now? Heavy fantasy? What?
It's heavy Western a little bit because I'm finished.
And I threw out my Western story for this.
I have my
the one that didn't even get done in time.
Yeah, I have my the finishing up the Captain, which is the 3-parter that's appeared in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lewis submitted a Western.
I did like a pseudo fantasy Western, sort of akin to Dark Tower-esque stuff.
Ooh.
I started writing it years and years ago when I first read the
Stephen King, if you're listening to this, no copyright infringement.
It's
We promise.
an homage, okay?
Parody. They can't sue on parody.
Parody. I was so affected by the Gunslinger that it changed how I wrote for that time period.
No.
And looking back on it now, I'm like, oh god, I gotta take this out. This is just stealing it. But I still wanted to pay homage to it, so it's in that vein, but it's not the same thing.
I have the illustrations I got to show you when we're done with
Oh, nice.
this.
Okay.
Now my question on that is, your Western. It's implied he's not human, but not really said.
He is.
Is he a vampire?
I was kind of
Inside Truth, people.
I'm still working on that because this is going to be one of those ones that I'm going to make into a big actual series of novels one day. I'm playing with the idea that he's like a vampire or some otherworldly creature and not fully human.
Okay, because it does.
Were meerkat.
Perfect.
That's the one thing that doesn't get turned into a were.
Under the face of the moon, I get smaller and furry.
And he looks for a creature named Pumbaa.
There was old medieval lore about possums.
Were possums?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The men who turn into giant man possums at night.
What are the
And
rules on where?
And he pretends to be dead a lot.
Hard marks.
Where are marks? Like at the tip of that little tiny mouth, there's like little fangs that's like.
There's all kinds of weird things. I kind of want to see like a weird crocodile or something.
Something like that. They need to come back.
Killer Croc from Batman.
Yeah, but
he would be the perfect thing. But I'm talking about the '90s Batman, where he looks like he's got warts and stuff, and he's got like that weird bottom jaw.
Thing.
And he's like, yeah. I hit out with a circus, and I had him beat up Batman.
I'm a crocodile. Believe it, seriously.
But 8-Bit Pulp, June 30th, issue 3.
I actually have 3 stories unfinished sitting in the wings that I'm trying to get into.
Get them done.
One's a type of crime noir, one is a western, and one is a steampunk with a warrior priest and a magician.
See, well, here's the thing. For issue 3, we did like a sci-fi cover. Because we do these covers a long time in advance before we get the story.
No, it's all Western.
So I got like the strong female sci-fi cover, and it's like all Western.
Well, that's how it is with comics in general. You can't judge them by the cover.
You know what? That's true. Well, that's true because I have an old issue of Justice League International, and it shows this team of superheroes standing over the bodies of like Batman, Superman, and everybody, and they like beat the crap up. And they even say in the word bubble, which I hate on the cover, they go, this doesn't actually happen in the comics, but it's pretty cool. Yeah. But
Thor drew this.
We're just enticing you in with this stuff.
No, well, you just sat at the table with Destiny. You heard it straight from people that are involved in the company. You've heard about what our first comics were, what we're currently reading, and tune in 2 weeks from Thursday. And catch another session at the table. We're not really at a table.
Listening to a Destiny Comics podcast, recorded in Hemet, California. Show produced by Michael Sanders. A special thanks to any and all guests on this show.